Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing well and getting ready to welcome in the new year. So if it's your first time here and you like what you see today, consider liking the video. Also, if you feel like it could benefit somebody else, consider sharing it as well. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. Now, let me ask you, how awesome would it be to gain an extra $5 every day for doing almost absolutely nothing? Now, what if that $5 turned into 10 and then 50 and then 100 and so forth? So the point I'm trying to make is passive income hits different when you make it become consistent. So the fact that I can wake up and have extra money in my account, putting little to no effort into it at all, just excites me, right? Like I mentioned in my previous video, there are ways you can use your investment returns to purchase stuff for you instead of you having to go out and use your own money. Or you can use that extra money, just to give you a little bit more financial freedom for the time being. Now, I'm a firm believer in practicing what you preach, right? All the investment topics I'm going to be talking about today are stuff that I personally do or are stuff that I'm learning about and I intend to put into action in the near future. So before I get into any of the money-making type of investments, let me go over some of the other ones that I feel are sometimes neglected but are just as important. The most valuable asset you will ever have is yourself. And that's an obvious and straightforward answer, but I do feel like it doesn't get through to people sometimes. That goes from being healthy, take care of your body, to being mentally stable and not biting off more than you can chew. On the mental side of it, wanting to be successful but not believing in yourself or just putting it off to the side does you no good, right? I'm going to offer some suggestions that have worked for me personally, and they might work for you as well. So whenever I encountered something that sparked my interest and I knew that I had to dedicate some time to that to learn sufficient skills to do that thing, I would put myself in some kind of a 6-month probation period just to kind of see if it was something that would benefit me in the long run, or just to convince myself that it wouldn't be worth my time or effort. That 6-month probation period included no distractions, no interruptions, trying to avoid being lazy and telling myself, oh, well, I can just study twice as long and twice as hard tomorrow, because we all know, that's not true. I've used that 6-month strategy on the investment topics I'm going to be talking about today, so I've proven to myself that it works. I do plan on there being other ones down the road, but for now, these are the ones that have worked for me. So the 6-month probation period might be an unrealistic time frame for you. It all really just depends on what you're trying to do. But it's the concept that I want to pass on to you guys. Finding the discipline and trying to stay committed is something that you have to figure out on your own, because, obviously it's easier said than done. But find something that motivates you, something to strive for, something that'll keep you in check to try and achieve that. Because at this point, you have to work like the 1% does, right? If you want it, you have to prove to yourself and prepare for it. And if you don't see it through, then the only one to blame is yourself, because you didn't do enough. It's that simple. Another suggestion I have towards investing in yourself is to pick up 3 hobbies. One to make you money, one to keep you in shape, and one to keep you creative. Now, I loved that idea when I first found out about it. So, I can personally say I've seen the difference in my lifestyle and habits since I decided to pick up 3 hobbies, because now on my days off, instead of sitting at home scrolling through my phone on social media, just kind of bored out of my mind, just watching time go by, I have my hobbies to keep me busy throughout the day, and it's beneficial for me. I'm investing in bettering myself while at the same time having fun, because the hobbies I picked up are gonna help me down the road, with the creative one kind of helping me find new strategies and new ways to tackle something new. My health, one hobby to keep me in check with that, and then the money I'll be making as well. So those 3 things are gonna provide value to me later on down the road. So another great investment to help you build your fortune is to invest in great relationships, both personal and professional. On the personal side, a great support group will only help you grow. Personally, wouldn't say it's necessary to have a personal support group, because I also believe that working in silence and not telling others your next move is just as effective. But if you feel like you work better with family and friends that are there for you, then definitely take advantage of it, because not everyone is as fortunate or has that same luxury. On the professional side, I do encourage you to go out and find like-minded individuals that have the same ambition and goals as you, because sometimes that's not the case, or that's not what you get out of your personal group. So it's better to kind of go out and find others that are going through the same thing you're going through, right? someone to talk about mistakes with, progress, any ideas, or stuff that has worked for them in their experience, right? Now we're finally going to move on to the money-making type of investments. So we're going to start off with the stock market. The concept of the stock market is a great way to make passive income, and lots of it. But obviously that's not the case, or else everybody would be doing it. So the outcome obviously depends on you and how prepared you are going into that world on its own. When I finally decided to invest, I told myself that I would not invest a single dollar into it until I felt comfortable enough starting off and knew, or at least had an idea of what I was doing, right? And I just wasn't kind of throwing money at it hoping that the price of the stock would go up. Well, a lot of that was just doing research, right? So watching videos, reading books, listening to podcasts, memorizing terms and strategies, and just trying to build a foundation of the type of trader I wanted to become. Some rules and guidelines that I set for myself in the beginning was to make sure I wasn't over trading in different companies, because at that point, if I was doing that, I would just be proving myself that I was following news trends or some other outside influence that was kind of nudging me into making that trade, and like I said, just hoping that the price of the stock would just go up. I wanted to avoid that at all costs. And for the most part, I was pretty good about it, but there were some times where I would slip and something would just seem too good to pass up on. And obviously, it didn't end up in my favor. Making trades based on my own analysis and information was very imperative. And finally, just trying not to let my emotions get the best of me, because it's very, very easy to slip up and make an impulsive trade. Like I said, I used that 6-month probation period on this because obviously you're going to have to sacrifice time and maybe even money if you want to go the route of paying professionals with mentorships or online classes or whatever it may be. But in my experience, that wasn't necessary to get started, but it solely depends on you. If you stick with it and find success, then the value of your portfolio will only increase, and it could potentially get to the point where it will increase when you're not even paying attention to it and using your time with something else. In other words, passive income. There are also benefits in investing in some companies because they will reward their shareholders with what is called dividends. So basically, a dividend is just an amount that a company gives their shareholders that comes out of their profits or reserves. I'm not going to be getting too much into the stock market, how it works, or my experience with it, because that will probably be saved for a later video down the road. So let's move on. A great form of investment is in real estate. This is an investment that I'm currently learning about and hope to put into action in the near future. And just like the stock market, the real estate market is one that can exponentially increase your wealth and fortune if done correctly. So before I started learning about real estate, I immediately assumed that the only way you can purchase a home was to put 20% down and do a conventional loan, which at the time, becoming a homeowner just seemed like a drag. But as I started learning, I soon found out that that was far from the truth. So in reality, you don't need that big 20% down to get started in real estate to purchase your first residential home or rental property. There are a lot of creative ways to get started in real estate. You can use a 3.5% down payment, or if you're creative enough, you can use somebody else's money and not use any of your own for the down payment at all. And it's totally legal if you do it right. It starts to become very tempting once you enlighten yourself and start researching about all the different kinds of possibilities there are out there. So there are many ways and strategies you can get started in real estate, and there's some that you don't even have to purchase real estate yourself. One option and strategy of getting started in real estate is becoming a wholesaler. Now, a wholesaler is pretty much like a middleman, right? You establish contract from a seller and you sell the contract to a potential buyer. And what you do is pretty much you offer the contract to the buyer for a higher price than what the seller agreed upon, and you just keep the difference. So you don't buy any real estate and you walk away with the split difference of the contract. Next example really only works if you have enough capital to get started with, and that is flipping homes. So essentially you just buy a distressed home at a great deal, you fix it up, you put money into it, and then once it's all ready, you sell it for a profit. Finally, one other option are rental properties. Rental properties are great because they are a great way of getting passive income, but if you're creative enough, you could also live rent-free. So essentially what you do is you just buy a home with multiple rooms, right? You live in one and you rent out the others. So essentially one rental property can change your lifestyle, because at the end of the month you can have a lower mortgage payment, or you can use that money as extra disposable income, or if you're creative enough, like I said, you could be living rent-free and just have extra money at the end of the month. Now, if you can manage to live rent-free from just one rental property, imagine what 2 or 3 or 6 rental properties can do for you. So now, keep in mind, these are just a few examples of what investing is all about, right? I definitely wish they would have taught this in school, and it would have just helped me keep an open mind about what's available. Your 9 to 5 probably won't give you financial freedom. And the last suggestion I can offer is to find something that suits you. So what I talked about in today's video probably won't pique your interest. So definitely go out there, find other ways, find strategies, find something that catches your attention, and then pursue it. Today's video, and consider subscribing if you haven't already for more content like this.